Hello, and welcome to Breaking Character. I'll be your guest reviewer Kyle today as we go over the Epic Armoury's Dai Katana 105cm. Today we'll be going over its specs, construction, as well as the final thoughts and who it's for. A little bit about myself. I have been LARPing for about 10 years now. I started in college. I really love the game and all like the freedom that it gives out. And the one thing I've always really liked is even when I was like a lot younger, I love like the idea of like knights and their armor and their weapons and how they made them. So whenever we actually get to real looking weapons as opposed to boffer weapons, which I have right here, this is always nice. It's a good starter thing, you know. PVC pipe, pool noodle foam, a little bit of duct tape. It can actually make some really nice things. Like this is nice and solid. But during LARPing, when you find out that you can have a real sword, it's so cool. They're so nicely made, depending on what you get. But that's what we're going to be going over. It's so cool. I'm sorry, it looks really cool! So let's go over the specs first. This is the Dai Katana 105cm weapon from Epic Armoury. It is a 41.5-inch long weapon with a 33.5-inch blade with a 8-inch handle here at the end. It is a soft EVA foam weapon covered in latex with a fiberglass rod running through the thing, as in most Epic Armoury weapons. It's very, very nicely weighted. It's actually just over a pound, it being 17 ounces. So there's a lot of really nice things about it. You can see that it's nicely colored all the way through, with its hilt here and cover also being a part of the nice foam mold going across the whole thing. So construction-wise, there's a few small things that coming from the factory itself. A small ding here and there is pretty standard, as well as there's a tiny bit of bubbling around the hilt here, as you may or may not be able to see, and there's a tiny bit of like flashing coming off the edge there, but honestly, you're never gonna notice. I mean, this thing is really cool looking. It's such a really nice piece too, because its 2-inch blade is nice and wide. You can actually like really see this thing out in the field. It has a very lovely wrapping around the handle here, and this is vegan leather actually wrapped around it. If you could actually look up close, there's a lot of intricate wrappings going around it in a traditional style. The vegan leather is actually glued right here at the back, and it loops up through the end piece here, coming out the front. So it's even done up very realistically, and it feels really nice, you know? It has nice knots along the handle where the leather is, and so for me, I have pretty big hands, and so I end up covering up, and it fits really nice. It's like kind of like when you grip a football or something like that. You can feel the laces in your fingers going in between it. It feels really nice in the hand. As I mentioned before, it's very light too. It's only just about a pound, with its balancing point somewhere around there in the center. Let me find it. Yeah, you can see that it's actually nicely weighted too from the edge. So let's talk about kind of our thoughts about it, like who it's for and what kind of purpose you would like. So, aside the obvious, where if you're playing any kind of Asian character, it's a katana. It's made for you. This is gonna look really cool when you're out and about talking with people. In fact, I have another one of Epic Armoury's. I believe it's called the Superior. The Superior Sword Frog, Leather Frog. And as I mentioned, it's a 2-inch blade, and this says it's on the site, it's made for it, but kind of rattles around. But like actual katana, there's a blade guard here that's meant to slip into it, and this is actually quite nice because once it's actually locked in there, it actually acts like a katana. So you can do the classic flashing the blade where you pull it out just a little bit there. So once again, as like a part of a cool factor, top notch. It's really, really cool. It's definitely made for Asian characters, or people who would like to play those in their games. Or, if you were even more inclined, you could even use it for, say, if you had like a cyberpunk kind of game that you're running, as in like a classic Street Samurai, if you will. If you're not into the look or the aesthetic of other kinds of weapons like a longsword or, as previously mentioned, like a cutlass, this can be really nice for you. If you want to go just for pure, I'm looking for combat, this is a really nicely weighted weapon. As I said, only £1. This thing is really nicely weighted. It doesn't have like a bulbous area on the tip or any kind of specialty like that, so there's no heavy weight when you swing it around. And even for more looks, as I mentioned, this part on the end here, this is made of no-tear EVA foam, so it's going to be a little bit hard to get through this. So even with this nice little squishy end here, you could put charms, a sash, anything like that through it to really add a nice little level of detail to your character. So our final thoughts about the weapon. It's pretty nice. I do like it. I've used it a bit in combat. It definitely holds up. I bought this, I don't know, maybe a year or two ago, I'm sure. Not was really LARPed during that time, but a few swings in practices around the house never really hurt anybody. And I really liked it. It's held up really well. As always, when you do have latex weapons, make sure you treat them with a nice silicone wipe down, and anything like that, it'll keep lasting for a while there. This is really cool weapon. I love that it has like a little bit more of a thicker guard here on the bottom, because when it's going to be inside the sheath for a long period of time, it's going to rest real nicely up against any kind of frog or sheath that you may actually have. And as compared to other weapons, you can see that with an original boffer weapon, this is, as I mentioned before, real simple, pool noodle and PVC core. With this, it's almost comparable in thickness too, almost like 2 inches, similar to this pool noodle right here, and it's just miles ahead of this. While latex weapons are pricey, this one's a little bit on like the medium end of the scale there. Once again, definitely check this out if you have the time. At the end of the day, give it a look-see. See it for yourself. Let me know, actually, in the comments below if you've ever bought anything from Epic Armoury and what you've really thought of their weapons. So, I've been your guest speaker, Kyle, and this has been Breaking Character, and over here should be all of our information, especially for social medias. Thanks, have a good night.
Tell him I don't like Twitter!
He doesn't like Twitter!